Every year, without fail, my daughter requests the vanilla cake and my son requests the chocolate cake. It is their favorite recipes. They never stray from it. I was hoping that one day they'll ask for a different recipe, but they never do. The only difference was this year my son requested a piñata cake and my daughter requested to have the layers in different colors of pink and white to kind of match the peaches theme. So that's what I'm doing in this video. I don't think that I've ever shared this exact recipe with you guys because it's not really my recipe. I found this recipe a long time ago when I first started baking. I've been testing out different cakes and this one is the one that stuck. But now when I look back and I try to find it on Google or Pinterest, I can't find this exact recipe anywhere. It's possibly because I tweak my own recipes to fit my location. So that's probably why I can't find this exact recipe. But if you guys want to know how I make this cake, please let me know and I will create a video with my favorite cake recipes. I started making my buttercream a little bit different now only because it is the warmer season and I've noticed that there's a lot of humidity in the air around this time of year. So I started incorporating water and leaving out the milk products. A lot of times I use half and half because I like the way that it tastes, but it's too creamy and it makes the buttercream too soft. So I started adding water and the water I put in with the butter while it's creaming and then I add in my vanilla before I put in the powdered sugar. That way I don't put too much liquid in it and it keeps it more of a stiffer consistency and it works out better that way so that when I'm icing my cakes, the icing is not getting too soft and it's a lot easier to work with. I created a whole video on different royal icing recipes that you can use for cookies, but in this video I'm using my favorite method, which is using the Wilton powder, the egg substitute to make my royal icing. I feel like it gives it the best consistency. But what I want to note here is that I add in vanilla and I add in salt because I feel like the salt brings down a lot of the sweetness, because one of the things is I don't really like how sweet royal icing is. I also like to flavor my royal icing, whether I'm using almond extract or lemon extract or even fresh lemon juice. I just think that it's important to flavor your royal icing so it doesn't taste like store-bought cookie icing. I was kind of inspired to create my recipe this way, the same way that I make my buttercream icing. I like to use a lot of salt because it brings down that sweetness. So like in my buttercream, I use salted butter. I just really want you to be able to taste the difference between homemade and off-the-shelf buttercream and royal icing. I didn't end up needing this fondant, but I still wanted to include it in here because I did make it. I didn't have as much time to create an elaborate cake as much as I wanted to, but it's fine because I ended up using some of this marshmallow fondant for a cake that I did the next week. But I do want to say that I love using marshmallow fondant because it just tastes so much better. But to tweak mine, I add flavoring to it. So I do put vanilla in there most of the time. If I'm just gonna do like cake toppers, then I won't. But if I'm gonna actually wrap my cakes in it, then I'll add flavoring to it. And you can find flavoring at Walmart or Joann's. They come in so many different flavors, from like lemon to like cotton candy. I think they even have a cream cheese one. You can jazz up your butter or your marshmallow fondant this way. And I've noticed that even when I make my cake toppers, a lot of times the kids just want to eat it because it just tastes so good. Even the adults do. You'd be surprised on how many people actually enjoy the taste of marshmallow fondant. Personally, I don't really care for the taste of marshmallows, but I still enjoy making this because I love seeing people happy when they're eating this. The last thing that I have left to prep on this day is to make my sugar cookie dough. You guys, this is the best sugar cookie dough. I've shared it with you guys many times, but I will link one of my favorite videos that includes this recipe down in the description box for you guys. I believe it's a Christmas video, but I want you guys to see that recipe. Although I did do things a little different this time. Instead of kneading my dough after it came out of the mixer, I just put it straight into some cling wrap and I let it rest that way. And you guys, it came out so soft and tender. It just makes it so that you don't overwork your dough. And I think I'm gonna start doing it this way. because this time these cookies, they were just so soft like pillows, and I really enjoyed the lemon zest inside the cookie dough as well. It didn't have any perfumey taste or anything like that. It just tasted like a really good lemon cookie with a light lemon royal icing. And I can't tell you how many compliments I got when they were eating these cookies. There was none left. I didn't even have to try and give them away. They were just gone. This batch of cookie dough uses 5 cups of flour, so you know you're getting a lot of cookies out of this one batch of cookie dough. You can get anywhere between 3 and 5 dozens of cookies. It just depends on how thick you roll out your dough. I like my cookies to be on the thicker side, so I try not to go any thinner than a 1/4 inch. If I can go just above a 1/4 inch, that's even better, because I like the ratio of the cookie to icing to be more cookie. Also, if you want your edges to be round, like perfectly round, since you're using the cup and this is a very tender cookie, they can tend to warp or misshapen while you're handling them. You just use a large cookie cutter and go around in circles, and that just helps tighten up the edges and make them round again. After I'm done cutting out all of my shapes, I'm going to be putting these in the freezer for about 10 to 15 minutes, just so that they hold their shape while they're baking in the oven.
Keep it simple, keep it sweet. Here's a line I heard somewhere. Feel the ground under your feet. It can take you anywhere. Chasing shadows with you. Let's get broken, then repair. In times of anger, feeling hopeless, find that light under the door. Build a bridge right to the shore. All that could have been talking would have been walking.
You're going to be baking these for approximately 12 to 15 minutes, just depending on how brown you want the bottoms of your cookies to be. I let them go a little bit longer just so that they get the brown edges on the bottom, because remember, these are pretty thick. So the cookies are going to be kind of crisp at the bottom and tender on the inside. And I like to take them off of my cookie rack almost immediately after I pull them out of the oven. I don't let them sit on the rack or on the cookie sheet for too long. Also, these don't puff up or anything. They hold their shape. They're really good. But if for some reason they do have some doming or bubbles, you can flatten them down using a silicone spatula and just kind of flatten them so that it's easy for you to decorate them. But this cookie dough comes out perfect every single time. I have never messed up a batch, even if I make a mistake in the process. And all I'm going to do is just store them in a container, and you could either freeze these for up to 3 months, up to 3 weeks in the refrigerator, or up to 2 weeks room temperature.
If you want to keep playing.
Instead of making cupcakes, I decided to make some cake pops. And I'm doing 2 types of chocolate because one of them is going to be gluten-free and one of them is regular. What I like to do is get all of my cake pops rolled out while my chocolate is warming up in my little Wilton pot. If you don't have one of these, you should invest in one. These things are amazing. The only thing is that I wish I had a couple more of the lining pots and more of the big ones instead of the dividing ones, because the divides are a little too small. But either way, they're really amazing. But like I was saying, I really like to roll out all of my cake pops in advance before I start dipping them. And I'll actually wrap them up in saran wrap and let them sit at room temperature rather than putting them in the refrigerator. I just kind of feel like this prevents them from cracking when you go dipping them, because if they're too cold, the chocolate will seize and the cake pops will begin to crack after they dry. So I'll actually let them sit out room temperature for about 20 to 30 minutes until all of my cake pops are rolled out, and then I start dipping. By then my chocolate should be ready. I also like to use a spoon rather than dipping the cake pop directly into the pot, because I feel like the chocolate can get a little too heavy and the cake pop will fall off. But if you do like to just dip your cake pops directly into the chocolate, my suggestion is to use paper straws instead of the little cake pop sticks, because I feel like the cake pop sticks don't have a good grip to them, and I feel like the hollowness of a straw just has a better grip, and so that's what I just prefer using. I have these stored in my garage because I don't want my cat to chew on them. He has a tendency of doing that, even though I'm using tissue paper this time. I colored all of these and I cut them out. I'll show you guys in a separate video how I made these. So I got those that I worked on, and I made these super cute bags. These are the goodie bags. So I got Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, the question mark, and the flower power. And then the last thing that I did was I worked on these things with their like fancy blowouts with Yoshi's face on them. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what I'm working with and what all I have on my plate and why I am as tired as I am. And there's still so much more to do, and each day that I schedule out certain things and it doesn't get done, I always get so bummed out and like frustrated. It's gonna get done, I know it is, it always does. So I just want you guys to know that if you're ever stressing out or frustrated or anything like that while you're throwing a party, it is completely normal. There is so much going on. I colored these and I need to cut these out, and I'm gonna be making, well, they're not technically centerpieces, they're like little decorative buckets to put candy in. So I got those to cut out and work on as well. I actually thought that I lost this footage, and I ended up finding it while I was editing this video. So I figured I would include it in this video just so you guys can get an idea of what I did here, because it is part of my party prep. But basically all I did was I took all of the centerpieces that I bought from the Dollar Tree and I started hot gluing all of my pictures that I colored, except for the star. This was part of a decor package from the Dollar Tree. Anyway, I just hot glued them on, and since I wasn't doing a whole lot of desserts this time, I figured I would just set out a bunch of candy. So these buckets got filled with so many different types of candy. I tried to find candy that would match the character, but it was almost impossible. Right now everyone is doing Mario Brothers themes, so finding candy to match was very difficult. But either way, they came out super adorable and the kids really loved them. Good morning, guys. It's like 5 in the morning. It is Wednesday. Didn't get all the stuff I wanted to get done yesterday, so now I have to work double time. I'm gonna get an early start. I have a friend coming to help me later. I got a cake, I got Rice Krispie treats, I have cake pops to finish, I have cookies to fill. Oh my gosh, that's another thing, the cookies. So these cookies are fairly small. These are only about like 2-inch cookies. And I really hope you can hear me, but I'm trying to be quiet because my kids are still sleeping. Anyway, oh, these cookies feel so soft. Oh my gosh, these are gonna be delicious. Anyway, and you can see speckles of lemon zest in there. So here's my dilemma. I bought these edible images. They're supposed to be cupcake toppers. Okay, they're so little. These are like 1 inch and these are like 2 inches. See how little that is compared to the cookie? I think I'm just gonna roll with it. I think that I don't think anyone's really gonna care, to be honest with you. If I were to do these cookies for someone else, I'd probably be more upset. Oh no, see, that always happens. Something always happens. So my royal icing is a tad bit thin, but to fix that, what I'm gonna do is, I'm just not gonna go all the way out to the edge. And then I'm gonna go with my scribe tool and I'm going to just drag it out to where I want it to be, as close to the edge as possible so that it's smooth. I'm hoping that the icing doesn't fall off the cookie because it is a bit thin. And I think I might have overfilled this cookie. Not getting off to the good start, but it's gonna be fine. Just try not to freak out whenever you're doing parties and you have a lot to do. Mistakes are gonna happen. You just gotta be patient and realize that sometimes people are not gonna see all the work that you put in, and some people are gonna see all the work that it took. And in the end, the kids are gonna be excited and happy, and it's gonna turn out great. It always does, no matter what. You could just buy them a cake and a bouncer and they'd be completely happy with that. So don't stress yourself out over some cookies, is what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna turn on something for me to watch while I'm doing this, especially while everyone's asleep.
Welcome back to my channel.
So I took a break from my cookies. I only got like 12 of them done, but that's okay. I don't have that many more of the white ones left. If I have time, I'll go back and do the star cookies. But I'm gonna get started on my cake now. So basically I'm going to be filling, stacking, and icing, and then it's gonna chill in the refrigerator, and then I'll go back to my cookies. I actually spent hours looking for designs for these cakes. And I had all of these ideas. They came out so cool in my head. I took lots of screenshots and I wanted to do such a good elaborate cake for each one of them. I got ideas from them, what they wanted on their cakes, and it just didn't work out that way. The closer and closer I got to the party, the less time that I had to put this all together. So I decided to just keep it very simple, but I did keep the piñata cake because my son requested to have the sprinkles in the center of his cake, and I decided to do the same thing for my daughter. She wanted pink and white inside the cake to kind of fit Peach's theme, so at least I did fulfill some of the requests. Also, I had bought these big jumbo cupcake toppers, and since I didn't really have anything to use them for, I ended up using them as decorations on the cake. The only thing that kind of bummed me out was that when we cut the cakes open, these sprinkles didn't spill out like they normally do, but I think it's because I didn't cut the cake big enough when I went to go and cut the slices open. But in the end, my kids were super grateful for these cakes, and that just made me feel so much better. Hear me out, guys, hear me out. I'm not liking how short stacked my daughter's cake is. It's like a whole layer shorter. It looks so weird. So I kind of want to find a way to stack it so it looks taller. I think I'm going to try and use this cake even though it's broken in half. I think I broke it in half to see what it looked like on the inside. This is just a piece of marble cake that I made with extra cake batter, and it's only like a week old and it's been in my freezer. So to keep my cake in place, I'm going to glue it with some buttercream. You only need a thin layer, and this is how you would fix a cracked cake. So I'm just gonna ice this cake. I'm gonna crumb coat it like I do all the time, let it chill, and then do a final coat. So I'm gonna go chill this in the refrigerator. other 2 pieces of cake that I don't want to go to waste, so I am going to use them. And I have a little idea for this. I'm going to fill this one with a little bit of buttercream and ice it like I did the rest of them. And then I'm going to cover it with some green fondant, and I'm going to create a little tube, kind of like the tubes in Mario Brothers. Emily's favorite Mario game is the 3D World, so she wanted to have a tube on her cake and have and have Toad coming out of it. So that's what I'm trying to replicate here. I wanted to make sure that the edges were all the way down and flat at the top, so that's why I'm using the flip method here. It's not perfect, but you'll see why it doesn't really matter later on. Now that I have all of my cakes chilling out in the refrigerator, I thought it would be a good time to start working on my star cookies. I think that these were my sister's favorite ones because she actually took a picture of it and she posted it on her Instagram. So apparently they came out super cute enough for her to do that. Thank you, sis. I appreciate it. But yeah, I used the same royal icing that I had originally made, but I didn't want to worry about the icing falling off, so I just added a little bit of powdered sugar to thicken up the royal icing, and they came out perfect. So I went online. These are actually bracelets, it looks like. These little blue strips right here, I think they were bracelets. They're 1.5 inches height and 1.93 width, and I think this is going to be the perfect size as a cake pop topper. I decided to print out some crowns and toadettes to put on the pink ones. So I'm probably going to be cutting these out and applying them onto the poster board. That way I have my cake pop toppers. I'm finally going to finish up these cake pops, and I recruited Crystal. She came in and saved my day, and here she is cutting out all of my cake pop toppers that I printed out while I was half dipping my cake pops. So these are the peach and toadette, and then I have the Mario and Luigi. So all the pink ones, I half dipped them in a darker pink, and the red and green ones, I half dipped them in blue to kind of match the color scheme of Mario and Luigi. And then I decided to make the bombs with the gluten-free cake pops. So I'm decorating them very simply with some royal icing eyes, and I am using some Sprite flavored Tic Tacs to create the feet. And I attach the feet using just a little bit of royal icing. If you know my channel, you know that I love to wrap every single one of my treats. I don't always get to do that, but since I had some extra help, she helped me wrap them and attach the toppers. I'm so glad that we did that because they had to sit overnight before setting up the table. So this just ensures that there's no dust or debris or cat hair or anything that is going to get in the treat. But also, in my opinion, I just think that it elevates the look of it, especially when you're going very simple. And even if you don't have any cutout toppers to decorate your cake pop with, just some simple ribbon will make it look even better. Like for instance, on these bomb cake pops, we used some gold or yellow ribbon, and she curled the ends so it kind of looks like the bomb is lit and it's about to explode. Having Crystal in the kitchen is like having 2 extra hands, and the way that I envision things is exactly how she sees it, so I am super grateful for her help. She did it exactly the way I would do it. At this point, we're just finishing up all of the treats. She was helping me cut out all of the wafer paper cupcake toppers, and I'm just applying them to my cookies with a little bit of water. You need to be careful with these wafer paper because they're pretty thin. They're not like sugar sheets. If you put too much water, they will start to disintegrate. And then she convinced me to make a few of these homemade decorative sprinkles for my Rice Krispie treats. And I'm just half dipping my Rice Krispie treats. These Rice Krispie treats are homemade 100% from scratch. Who am I kidding? No, they're not. They're from Walmart. No one was supposed to know. It was supposed to be a secret, but I have a big mouth, so now you know. I just needed some help, guys. You know, sometimes you just need to buy them, but I didn't want to buy the ones that were, you know, the actual brand Rice Krispies. I wanted them to kind of like have a homemade feel to them. So I did buy these from the bakery section at Walmart, and they taste just as good as homemade. But they are kind of hard to find, so if you're able to, get an eye on them about a week before you start decorating. That way you can throw them in your freezer and decorate them the day before or a couple of days before your party. This is my last day that I'm able to work on any treats, and before I get started on my cake and before Crystal shows up to help me finish them up, I decided to put my star cookies in the dehydrator for about 12 minutes just to make sure that the icing is fully set so that when I go to decorate the eyes on the cookies, my marker doesn't go through. And I know that I'm going to have a lot to do on Friday, including shopping and party prep and food prep and all that stuff. So I wanted to make sure to get this done as soon as possible. And now it's time to glitterify these sugar cookies just to top them off and make them look extra cute. You like them, Christian?
Yeah.
Show them the cookie. So cute. Now that my cakes have had a chance to firm up completely in the refrigerator, it's going to be a lot easier for me to decorate these cakes. And like I had mentioned earlier, I'm trying to keep these cakes pretty simple because I don't have a whole lot of time to work on them. But I still wanted to add my tube to the top of Emily's cake because that's something that she really wanted. And I'm going to be adding some candy, and then later on, Emily and Christian are going to decide where they want to put their cake toppers. I thought that this was pretty fun, allowing them to use their own creativity to decorate their cake, and I think they really liked it too. I just wish that the game wasn't playing in the background so that you guys could see exactly what they said during the entire time we were decorating their cakes.
I want to put Luigi right here.
Right here?
Yeah. And Mario and Yoshi right here.
On this side?
Yeah.
Okay, and what do you want me to put right here?
Sticker here.
You want me to put like a sign?
Yeah.
You want me to have your name on it? Okay. For Christian's cake, I wanted to make it look like he was up in the sky on the rainbow. So I used some cake that I had in my freezer to make like a cake pop dough consistency. And I just molded it on top, and then I added the same rainbow candies that I used on Emily's cake. And then I sat Mario on top, and I put a little Koopa shell so that he's ready to launch it at one of his opponents.
I want the lucky block right here.
This one?
Yeah.
Right here? I got these toppers off Amazon, and at first I thought I was going to use them for my cake pops, but they were way too big. And since I wasn't doing cupcakes, I was like, I'm not really sure what I'm going to use them for. So it came in handy for these cakes, and so they were really excited to pick and choose which ones that they wanted to use. And so that really made me feel better, and it made me feel like my kids got what they really wanted. this font on Google. It's the Super Mario font in the different letters. So I'm gonna try and recreate my daughter's name, Emily, and Christian, and I'm going to basically just draw it out on a piece of sugar sheet, and then I'm gonna transfer it over to a piece of fondant and then apply it to my cake. I like to write on this first and then go over it with my cutter just so that I know that it's centered. I was supposed to have these done on Thursday. I know, guys, time has just not been on my side. It really hasn't been on my side in months. I feel like I'm living in slow motion. I can't figure out what's going on, but I'm working it out. And so I squeezed the time in to do this on Friday morning before my friend Crystal came to pick me up to go shopping for all of the food. And I used this tracing pad to create the name plaques. I feel like it wouldn't have come out that cute had I not thought about using this. This thing has become my best friend when it comes to making DIY edible images, and I just feel like using this really elevated the look of their name plaque, and in the end it came out super cute, and I was so satisfied with it that it almost looked as if I had actually printed it on an edible sheet. I do want to mention though that this did take me about an hour to complete, and I have this on 1,000 speed, so it definitely wasn't something that was quick. It did take me some time to do. So now I'm just going to transfer this over onto some fondant. For Christian's, I decided to use black, and for Emily, I decided to use white. And I just cut them out and I applied them with a little bit of water. But since Christian's name is a little longer than Emily's, I had to trace the outline of the cutter on the outside so that I had a little bit more space. And after applying his name to the fondant, I had to use my rolling pin to sort of stretch it out a bit to fit the shape of the sugar sheet. If you didn't want to do that, you could just trace the outline directly onto the fondant and then cut it out. Crystal and I did most of our food shopping at Walmart, but we did get a lot of our meat items from Stager Brothers. But we did do a potluck this time to save some money, and our family and friends were more than happy to help out, which is part of the reason why we combined their birthdays together, just because we couldn't afford to do two separate parties. But when we got back, I helped her and my husband helped me, and we just did our portion of the food on this day. We ended up doing burger sliders, chips and salsa, deviled eggs, pasta salad, potato salad, and barbecue chicken. Everything else that you see in this video was brought by everyone else. And now that all of the balloon arches are up, all the decorations are done, it is time to start setting up. We are tired at this point, to say the least. It was such a long day. I think by the time I was setting up, it was already going to be like 9 or 10 p.m. And I couldn't have done that without Danielle's help. She really did help me out quite a bit. And as I was setting up, I was getting super excited because everything was just coming together nice and everything looked so good and the kids were getting so excited and all the decorations just looked amazing. Please don't forget, if you guys really want to see how I created the balloon arches and all these decorations, I have two other videos. One is my DIY video and one is the balloon arch and the pop video. So you might want to watch those because they are really fun. The last thing that I want to share before I close out this video are these containers that I bought from the Dollar Tree. I thought that they were going to be like not that good quality, but they are super big and they fit an entire bag of party-sized chips, and they're pretty airtight even though the lids are loose, so it kept our chips from going stale. And it is finally Saturday, the day of the party, and it's finally time to get this party started.
Here we go!
Quiet on the set! Just kidding.
We made it! It's party time!
Finally done.
Yes.
Everything is all decorated.
Yes, everything looks amazing. It all came out so good. We're being tossed beers.
Shotgun a beer.
Woo!
Hell yeah. A cold, fresh Coors Light. No Bud Light.
Maybe later. Anyway, we wanted to thank you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts for watching this video with us. Hopefully you made it to the end. I know this one was kind of a long one. But we're super excited how everything came out. Everything looks so cute, and I could not have done it without this girl. She's so amazing. She helps me out every single time. She has never missed one of my kids' birthdays. No. And Crystal either. Crystal helped me out a lot too. These two girls are like my ride or die. And yeah, thank you so much for helping me, all your help. Anyway, it's time to party. So if you want to stick around and join some clips of the birthday party, you're more than welcome to stay. If not, we will see you guys in our next video. See ya!
When I was a little girl, I believed in fairy tales. I wished my toys would come to life and that my stories could be real. Then through all the noise and confusion, I believed it was all an illusion. The world had faded black and white, nothing seemed to be right. But now I know that how it goes is that my dreams never die. As long as I keep the magic inside me alive. Do you believe in magic?
Okay, I had to stop the lyrics on that one for a minute just so that I can appreciate some things. I couldn't have asked. I'm sorry. Every time I hear that song, I always get emotional. I'm really sorry, but I include it in these videos because it means that much to me. But what I was going to say was I couldn't have asked for better friends and family who had no problem at all joining in on this potluck and bringing all this food and bringing this party to life and bringing magic to our home and joining us on this special occasion to celebrate the lives of my two kids. I'm the kind of person that truly believes in being there for people, and I try my best to give what I can and when I can, but I have a really hard time asking for their favor in return. But this time I really needed help, and they surely did deliver. And they did it with so much love and support. And look at the smiles on these kids' faces. It's everything to me, knowing that we were all able to share this one special day with my kids. So I guess what I'm trying to say is thank you. Thank you for everything, for being there, for joining in on my reindeer games and taking champagne and going down this slide with me. That was like such a magical moment for me, and I look forward to it every single year. Until next year, you guys, I will see you guys then in another one of these magical videos.
When I was a little girl, I believed in fairy tales. I wished my toys would come to life and that my stories could be real. Then through all the noise and confusion, I believed it was all an illusion. The world had faded black and white, nothing seemed to be right. But now I know that how it goes is that my dreams never die. As long as I keep the magic inside me alive. Do you believe in magic? Special moments made when you believe in magic.